obviously getting voted by fellow professionals, you know, is a great honour, and I was just happy really to be nominated, although I haven't played the whole season. But you know, I've just got to thank all the players in the division for voting me, and also my own professional colleagues as well.
Despite tough competition from Barry Ferguson, Lee McCulloch and Jamie McAllister, Kenny Miller from Hibs was voted Scotland's Young Player of the Year.
I'm absolutely over the moon again. I mean, it's a bit of a surprise to get it. I mean, you're up against really good players like Lee McCulloch, Barry Ferguson, Jamie McAllister, so it's rounded up a pretty good season for me.
And you had no idea?
No, not a clue. I mean, if I was to pick the player of the year myself, I mean, I voted for Barry. You know, if he's had another great season, and as Lee McCulloch and Jamie have had really good seasons as well, so it was a pretty hard competition.
However, for the 4th year in a row, it was a Celtic player who grabbed the top honour.
The Chivas Regal SPFA Premier Division Player of the Year is Mark Viduka.
The Australian striker, following on from the likes of Paolo Di Canio, Jackie McNamara and Henrik Larsson.
I mean, the players are probably the best judges of their fellow professionals, and it's just an honour for me to be, you know, to be voted by my fellow professionals as the best player in Scotland.
Best player in Scotland this year. Everyone wants to know, will you be here next year?
I don't know what's going to happen next year. You know, I'd like to be able to answer that for sure, but you know, we're going to have to wait and see what happens.
So whether Viduka will be about to defend his title remains to be seen, but there are certainly lots of people out there wanting his signature.
And Scott Sports, congratulations to all of tonight's winners. Well, 2 sets of players had to miss that gala evening this evening. Rangers and Dundee had unfinished league business to sort out at Ibrox. Here's how the 2 teams lined up. Rangers brought in Tero Pentia in central defence, Lorenzo Amoruso playing his last game before the cup final. 4-4-2 for Dick Advocaat, a starting place for Neil McCann, no Wallace or Van Bronckhorst, but Jonathan Johansson made the bench after 5 months out. Jockey Scott picked an experienced lineup featuring ex-Old Firm players Smith, Boyack and Falconer. James Grady kept on the bench, but places for impressive imports Artero, Billio and Luna. Lorenzo Amoruso led out the side, which would later be presented with the Bank of Scotland SPL trophy. The referee was Willie Young. Our match commentator, Peter Martin.
It's party time here at Ibrox, and no one can deny Rangers the right to enjoy a second successive championship success under Dick Advocaat. Well, I'm sure Dundee have aspirations to spoil the celebrations this evening, just like they did back in November of last year, but Dick Advocaat has his troops warned, make sure they put on a show for everybody inside Ibrox. And the facts are simple, Rangers are the best team in Scotland by a mile, 19 points clear at the top of the table, testimony to their dominance this season. And I'm sure they'll be looking for a little bit of revenge against Dundee after that 2-1 victory by Jockey Scott's side. A little bit of a shock, and the only time Rangers have been beaten this season in the league. Here's a chance already! Cleared away. Well, Rangers set about their business early on. Good run there by Barry Ferguson and Billy Dodds. Dodds took a late challenge there. Referee Willie Young rightfully playing the advantage. Here comes Kanchelskis. Alberts is free again. This is a shot. Anywhere around the box, you know exactly what George Alberts has in his mind. Accuracy slightly awry there. That's a lovely flick by Claudio Reyna. He has the option of Kanchelskis. He's opting for the pass, and a good one too, Neil McCann. And it goes. Here's Alberts on his right foot this time, and I think everyone inside the stadium knew exactly what the percentage was for George Alberts getting it on target with his right foot, not his favoured one. And there you see the balance all wrong. Here's Pentilla, Alberts. That's a good ball in there. Well, still in. There's the goal! Rosenthal thought he put the ball on the net. I did have a feeling it was a great ball from George Alberts. Just in behind Barry Smith, and it looked as if Robert Douglas was losing out there to Neil McCann's speed. The ball had actually crossed the byline. The Rosenthal's goal doesn't count. Now here's Boyack. Amoruso playing a dangerous one there. Lorenzo Amoruso. Here come Dundee again. Lee Madison driving, he took a deflection there. Well, when you look at Dundee, 8th in the Premier League, limited resources, and they really do take advantage of what little opportunity comes their way. But here's a chance for Rangers. Neil McCann, oh, off the bar! That would have been a sensational finish, and he took it in his stride, cool as you like, almost casually trying to pass it into the roof of the net. And just as I was saying, Rangers patient in the build-up, Douglas with no chance there, and the woodwork keeps the score level. Here's Arthur Newman. Oh, nice ball in again now. What can Billy Dodds do? Just tries the shot. Well, Billy Dodds, just a snapshot there. He's on form, 7 goals in the last 5 matches, and you would expect him to be taking the chance rather than consider any pass. All the work for Rangers is done and dusted, and at the end of this match they will receive the Premier League trophy. That won't concern Dundee. Barry Smith! Well, he just looked up, an opportunist shot, and that certainly would have silenced the crowd for a moment. Rangers, no real fluency in their play, and here is Stephen Boyack. Oh, good save, stepping cross. Stephen Boyack. And again, some space for Dundee to attack. Nice play by the former Rangers player, skipping inside, trying to make sure he hit the target. Here come Rangers, Neil McCann. Alberts. And at the moment, Rangers not showing anything in an attacking sense. They're being forced back and closed down very well, it has to be said, by the Dundee midfield. And they're working to make sure they get back in to help the defenders. Here's Alberts, now thinking about a shot. Whoa! Douglas! Well, just as you mentioned, no real threats. Up pops George Alberts, thundering in the shot there, and I think the pressure of it, Robert Douglas stinging on his fingers. Just look at the power and the swerve in this from George Alberts. Alberts. Lovely pass by George Alberts. Now Rosenthal is the finish here from Kanchelskis. Rosenthal trying to pass it into the net. Still the danger is still there. Kanchelskis. A very unselfish play by Andrei Kanchelskis. I'm sure his manager would have been looking for him to thunder in a shot, but referee Willie Young brings the first half. Well, that first half didn't quite reach the highlights of some of Rangers' performances this season, both at home and abroad, but I'm sure everyone inside Ibrox quite content with the mood as long as they don't lose the game. Certainly the atmosphere and the mood among the Rangers fans will continue in party mode throughout, but chances in that first 45 minutes, few and far between. Dundee did manage to carve open a few opportunities. Alberts. Nice control by Neil McCann to keep it in there. Now, can he produce the cross of quality? Will he finish it himself? Billy Dodds with a shot. There it is! Billy Dodds! And if ever a man was perfect to get the goal on a championship night, it's surely Billy Dodds. Goals in 6 games, and when you look at his goal scoring for Rangers and for Dundee United, that's goal number 12 in a Rangers jersey, goal number 22 overall for the season. Good going and a good finish by Billy Dodds. It really is the first time that Rangers made their way into the heart of the Dundee defence with any real menace, and they were rewarded for it. And here's Alberts. Is there more to come? Rosenthal just trying to hold it up. Here's McCann. Rosenthal. Dodds. Here's Kanchelskis. Oh, it's in! No! Well, a goal for Alberts may have arrived out of good fortune more than anything else. Kanchelskis, I'm almost certain that was a shot from Kanchelskis, but it ended up with Alberts and almost in the back of the net. Reina, Alberts now, here come Rangers again. McCann. Cross all the way to the back. They'll take the corner. Clearing it in, it looks as if it's gone into the net, it has! Neil McCann! Well, Douglas is furious with the defence. It was a power corner from Alberts. There was all sorts of confusion, and Neil McCann just managed to scramble it over the line with his right foot while he was on the deck. And there you see Neil McCann taking full advantage of the break in the box, and Rangers are 2 in front. And it is a scoreline worthy of a party celebration. Alberts thinking about the shots. Alberts with a corner. And it goes! Oh, what a save by Douglas! Pure instinct! Well, how much did he really know about that? All the time in the world, look at the power from Dodds, and it looked as if Artero may have got his head on it. The atmosphere from the fans will no doubt spur the champions on, but Dundee done a very good job up until the goal from Billy Dodds, and now it looks as if the roof could cave in here. McCann, overhead kick by Rosenthal. He's capable of that little bit of magic. Again, McCann causing all sorts of problems, but it's always going to be difficult. Alberts was going to get caught in possession here. Artero. Now, what can Dundee create here? Luna, and it goes. Ole Faulkner. Good shots. Kloss made it look easy, but very little backlift from Stephen Boyack, driving it in. $50,032 packed inside Ibrox to pay homage to the Premier League champions, and they've been rewarded by 2 goals, and there's still time for more. Rosenthal. Alberts is in the scoring, plays it out to Kanchelskis. Good save, Robert Douglas, and again Kanchelskis. Everybody wants to get in. On the goal scoring, Albert, unselfish, Kanchelskis forcing the save out of Robert Douglas. Newman. Goes McCann again. Really has been a problem for Dundee, especially in this second half. Neil McCann, I'm sure, will be the candidate for man of the match. Edge of the box, Alberts. Whoa, driven in! Well, I've watched Hibs on a number of occasions with Russell Latapy and Frank Soze orchestrate a goal from there. Alberts linking up with Kanchelskis and almost producing something really special from the corner. Well, Alberts, vision spotting Kanchelskis there. And again, just starting to spread this Dundee side, putting it into Rosenthal. Is this number 3? Yes, it is! Sebastian Rosenthal repeats the goal-scoring feat that he achieved at Dens Park, slipping it calmly into the net. And again, right down the middle of the Dundee defence. And the decision was made, really, for Rosenthal. He just waited to see if Douglas would commit himself and dive, holding on as long as possible and then slipping it under him. It's Rangers now in easy street. 3 goals up. Dick Advocat can look on with pride on an evening when his players have displayed everything that's good, especially from Neil McCann. Well, Jockey Scott smiling despite the scoreline. Full-time fast approaching in this match, as you can sense, as Ibrox erupts. Referee Willie Young signals the start of the party. Dick Advocat can look on as Rangers finish this game. They are the champions. This is the party, and 3 goals settled it over the 90 minutes here this evening. A poor first half, but in the second half, Billy Dodds started it off after great work by Neil McCann. It was McCann who really can lay claim to man of the match, who got involved in the second goal, a power corner from George Alberts. McCann was there to flick it over the line, and then really the icing on the cake, Sebastian Rosenthal getting in on the end of a pass inside the box, delayed his shot till Douglas had committed himself, and the ball's in the back of the nets. At the end here in Ibrox, the champions Rangers win this one against Dundee by 3 goals to 0.
Stops and then shoots, and by that time the goalkeeper's committed to the ground, and when the goalkeeper's on the ground, it's easier for the striker.
Yeah, it's a very well taken goal. Rangers won the match by 3 goals to 0, but of course they've won this championship over the course of a season where they have played quite magnificently. There they are celebrating at Ibrox tonight, and who else but the skipper Lorenzo Amoruso going up to lift the Bank of Scotland Scottish Premier League trophy. All the players had their own little shot of lifting what is a very heavy cup, I can tell you. There's Dick Advocat celebrating as well. He was dancing later on when the photographs were being taken, which you will see on your back pages tomorrow. But really, Graham, great team effort from Rangers throughout the season.
It was. Gosh, Dick is dancing right enough. Tim, I didn't believe you there. Yeah, I mean, it is a great effort. The debate has hotted up now about